Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaly, and welcome to the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by LaughingPlace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on September 22nd, 2021, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. Walt Disney World's Rise of the Resistance is going old school, Disneyland is adding another holiday party to its party lineup, Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin is getting an update, and more. It's all coming your way right after this. If you're a fan of theme parks like me, and candles like me, you'll just love Souvenir Scents. Souvenir Scents is creating handmade candles to help bring your most cherished vacation memories into your home. Their unique scents are individually formulated to bring the most realistic representations to life. You won't find these variations anywhere else. This includes their Pandora collection, including the scents Pandoran Flight Cave, Pandoran Flight Ocean, and Pandoran Flight Forest. You can find these and much more simply by visiting the Souvenir Scents link in this episode's description, and when you use code DCTC at checkout, you can save 10% off of your order.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
With less than a year to go before the 2022 D23 Expo, the official Disney fan club has announced more details for those planning their trips. Tickets for the event will go on sale starting January 20th, 2022. However, those looking to book their hotel stay can do so now by visiting D23.com and clicking the link to find special rates. Of course, the 2022 D23 Expo will return to the Anaheim Convention Center from September 9th through the 11th. One of Disney's latest heroines recently made her Disney Parks debut. Raya, from Raya and the Last Dragon, has begun meeting and greeting guests over at Shanghai Disneyland. Our hero can now be found in the Adventure Aisle area of the park. It's currently unclear when the character might arrive stateside, but hopefully this won't be her last appearance. Speaking of new characters coming to Shanghai, Duffy the Disney Bear's newest friend has just been revealed. Lena Bell, a curious, inquisitive, and adorable fox, will make her global debut on September 29th, joining Duffy's other friends including Shelly May, Gelatoni, Stella Lou, Cookie Ann, and Olu Mel. As mentioned, Lena Bell will first be exclusive to Shanghai, but will travel to other Disney parks such as Hong Kong Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea in autumn 2022. It's once again that time of year when Disney fans across the country eat a lot of Happy Meals. That's because for a limited time, participating McDonald's locations are offering toys tying into Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. Each toy features one of dozens of classic Disney characters, as well as a backdrop of one of the parks. So be sure to stop by your local Mickey D's while supplies last. Me personally, I think they should have made miniature versions of those golden statues going all around the parks for the Happy Meals, but that's just my opinion. With new nighttime spectaculars premiering at Walt Disney World on October 1st, the resort has also announced new dessert parties and dining packages for these offerings. At Magic Kingdom, there will be 3 50th Fireworks dessert parties, a pre-party, an after-party, and a treats and seats event in between. These parties will kick off on October 3rd, with bookings now available. Meanwhile, over at EPCOT, fireworks dining packages featuring either Rose and Crowns or Spice Road Table will be available starting October 1st, allowing diners to enjoy prefix menu options while sitting back and watching the new show Harmonious. Bookings for these dining packages will open on September 23rd. Outside of the parks, there's also Fairy Tale Fireworks, a sparkling dessert cruise and celebration at the top 50th flavors and fireworks at Disney's Contemporary Resort. So be sure to visit DisneyWorld.com to explore all of your options. The reimagining of Epcot took another step forward last week with the opening of 2 locations. First, the new Creation Shop in Future World East opened its doors, offering a variety of Epcot-specific merchandise alongside other favorites. The location will now serve as the main retail hub for the park, taking the rollover from the former Mouse Gear. Also welcoming guests is a new version of the popular Club Cool. Here, guests can sample Coca-Cola brand beverages from around the world, including the loved yet loathed Beverly. Other flavors available for sampling include Sprite Cucumber from Russia, Smart Sour Plum from China, Bonbon Anglaise from Madagascar, and more. Of course, the space also offers treats for purchase as well as a selection of Coca-Cola merchandise. Both locations are now open at EPCOT. As various entertainment offerings continue to return at Walt Disney World, the popular Finding Nemo the Musical has still been on hiatus. Well, now Disney has announced that a new musical inspired by Finding Nemo will debut at Disney's Animal Kingdom in 2022. The updated offering will not only feature the same beloved characters, but will also see songs from the musical such as In the Big Blue World and Go With the Flow returning. The new show is in early stages of development, but will apparently include new story materials. So stay tuned for more updates as we just keep swimming toward this reimagined show's premiere. In other Walt Disney World entertainment news, fan favorite Yeehaw Bob Jackson has revealed that he'll be returning to his home at Port Orleans Riverside next month. According to Jackson, his show will resume on October 14th at 8:30 p.m. Currently, the Walt Disney World website shows performance times for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. If you've never seen Yeehaw Bob, his show is a mixture of music and family-friendly comedy with lots of audience participation. So be sure to pay him a visit on your next trip and welcome him back. Following recent changes to the Jungle Cruise and the planned overhaul of Splash Mountain, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin is the latest Disney Parks attraction to receive updates. Disney tells the Orange County Register that the ride will begin to see changes as a revamped story comes to the attraction, bringing Jessica Rabbit into the lead role as a private eye determined to stamp out a Toontown crime wave. Scenes will be updated that feature Jessica Rabbit to make them more relevant and add to the new story. No timeline for when the changes will be complete was announced, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the development. Now that Disneyland's Magic Key program is up and running, some familiar perks and promotions have returned as well. For example, Magic Key holders can now purchase an exclusive popcorn bucket and get $1.50 refills at participating carts until November 10th. These new buckets are limited to one per Magic Key holder transaction while supplies last. Another Magic Key benefit will allow guests to spend some extra time on one of Disneyland's most popular attractions. On Mondays through Thursdays now until October 7th, Magic Key holders will be able to experience Haunted Mansion Holiday for an extra hour after park closing. Valid park admission and a park reservation will be required to take advantage of this offer, and Magic Key holders will need to show proof of membership upon entry. Of course, Magic Key holders aren't the only ones visiting the Haunted Mansion these days, as the new special Muppets Haunted Mansion is gearing up for its Disney Plus debut. Ahead of the special's premiere, a number of celebrity cameos have been revealed, including John Stamos, Yvette Nicole Brown, Taraji P. Henson, Darren Criss, Pat Sajak, Jeannie Mai, Chrissy Metz, and the late Ed Asner, among many others. Of course, the special will feature many of your Muppet favorites as well. With the gang announcing more guest stars every day, we could very well hit 999 by the time Muppets Haunted Mansion arrives on Disney Plus October 8th. This past weekend, the 73rd annual Primetime Emmy Awards were held in Los Angeles. While the Walt Disney Company walked away with only one win during that main event, Hamilton's award for Outstanding Variety Special pre-recorded, the company was honored in several Creative Arts Emmy categories the week prior. Among the projects that took home statues were The Mandalorian, Dancing with the Stars, The Conners, Pose, Nat Geo's Life Below Zero, and even ABC's telecast of the Oscars, among others. Some more notable wins include Agatha All Along from WandaVision earning Kristen Anderson Lopez and Bobby Lopez the award for original music and lyrics, as well as Disney Plus's Secrets of the Whales winning for documentary or nonfiction series. Congratulations to all of this year's Emmy Award winners and nominees. It looks as though the 1986 film Flight of the Navigator could be taking off again. According to reports, a reboot of the movie is currently in the works at Disney Plus, with Bryce Dallas Howard attached to direct. The original film told the story of 12-year-old David Freeman, who mysteriously disappears, only to return home years later having not aged a day. At the same time, a UFO is discovered, and David is the only one who can fly the strange ship. Interestingly, The Hollywood Reporter notes that Disney had been working on the project with Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly in 2009 before losing the rights to Lionsgate. However, the film didn't get much further along over there and has now returned to Disney. Will it fly this time around? We'll just have to wait and see. Fans of Disney Plus's High School Musical, the musical, the series have something to celebrate as a third season of the streaming series has been announced. Notably, production for the new season will relocate from Salt Lake City, Utah to Los Angeles, California, and will begin later this year. According to Disney, Season 3 will follow the Wildcats as they leave the hallways of East High for the ultimate summer at sleepaway camp, complete with campfires, summer romances, and curfewless nights. As we await Season 3, when you're not too busy listening to Sour on repeat, you can catch Seasons 1 and 2 of High School Musical, the musical, the series on Disney+. And now it's time to bring in Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com with all of his wisdom. Hello, Kyle Burbank.
Hello.
We got some Disney news to talk about today. Let's start over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, where they are apparently pausing Star Wars Rise of the Resistance virtual queue. And the crowds cheer, yay, yeah, and this is what everybody's been asking for, and they've been resisting, no pun intended, for far too long.
I don't know if it's been far too long. It's been a few weeks where it's been pretty crazy how late into the day you could get a boarding group. Like I mentioned during my trip where we walked in at 7 p.m. and were able to get one. It seems like the ride has been stable enough and the crowds have been decent enough that it hasn't been a big deal. So now they're finally going to move beyond this for at least for now, until they might pull it up again if it becomes necessary or on certain like peak days, I'd imagine. But yeah, I'm excited to have a regular standby.
Yeah, this is interesting to me. Basically, on September 23rd, boarding groups are no longer necessary. I will say this is at Walt Disney World only, at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Do not get excited, Disneyland folks. And Disney does say that they are pausing it. That is a very specific word I feel like that they're using. Pause. It doesn't mean go away forever. It means it's on pause right now. So we'll see if it comes back. But I just want to go back to a Bob Chapek quote from 2019 because I relate this to this. Do you remember this quote that he had about 10-hour lines?
Yeah.
The quote is, one of the wins that we had with the opening of original Galaxy's Edge is that we didn't have the waits. The deep secret is that we don't intend to have lines. If you build in enough capacity, the rides don't go down and it operates at 99% efficiency, you shouldn't have 10-hour lines. So 10-hour lines are not a sign of success. It should be a sign of, frankly, failure. And this was, kind of covering their butt a little bit because Galaxy's Edge didn't have the crowds. It was also a comment on the Hagrid's coaster at Universal having 10-hour lines. And it was an interesting quote, but I feel like at this point, the virtual queue system is basically so that they never hit those 10-hour lines, so that they never eat their words. Because basically it's going away for this, but it's hopping right over to the Ratatouille ride over in EPCOT, which to me is bonkers. Like, I get it. It's going to have a huge line because it's something new and it's Disney fans just love new stuff. But I don't know. This is like web slingers all over again. I don't understand why every new thing needs to be a boarding group virtual queue system at this point. It drives me kind of crazy. Drives me a lot crazy.
Well, I think maybe when we get more into Disney Genie Plus and the add-ons, I feel like that'll probably change that as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that it is funny to me because, as I'm sure you've seen, the crowds for Space 220 have hit 7+ hours at this point, right? People are waiting in line.
Oh, I haven't even been paying attention.
Yeah,
but because they didn't open reservation. They just opened reservations, though, didn't they?
I don't know what the reservation thing is, but I know that the lines today, the day we're recording this, have been over 7 hours. And I'm just yeah, they don't mind those long waits when you're giving them money directly to buy food, but they don't want it for rides, apparently. Like you said, Lightning Pass and Disney Genie Plus will change things with boarding group. I don't know. I hate the boarding group. I just hate that it's the only option. And that's what we've had since boarding group came out. So we'll see what it does. But for now, this is great news for Disney's Hollywood Studios and hopefully soon for Disneyland.
I think it'll get there. I don't know what the differentiator would be. Maybe they're kind of waiting to see how Magic Key affects attendance first. Maybe that would be the only thing I could think of that would be different.
I mean, but to be fair, it kind of benefits the whole not fright lane. My head is on Halloween. Lightning Lane pass. It benefits Lightning Lane to have boarding groups only, right? Because basically, if you don't get a boarding group, you are quote unquote required to buy a Lightning Lane if you want to ride the ride. So I mean, honestly, the boarding groups benefit that, so it might not go away here.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. We'll find out, though, but in any case, that's happening. On to some better news. Well, I guess that's semi-good news. Now we got great news. Candlelight Processional is returning to Epcot for the holidays, returning on November 26th through December 30th. Did you think it was going to be coming back, Kyle?
I did, but only because I know people who work at Walt Disney World, and they've already gotten notifications about that was going to hopefully happen. They're moving forward in hopes that it would happen. So
yeah, I know a cast member who was, letting me know that like, oh, they've posted that there will be auditions, but they're still kind of cautiously saying this is like preparing, but not 100% yet. So I was happy to see that it is happening. It is a huge deal for Epcot. I gotta be honest though, I was really under the assumption that if it did come back, it was going to be like a hard ticket event sort of thing. I thought in order to sit down and watch that, which they have dining packages and stuff, but I thought it might lean toward like that being the only option. So I'm really happy that is not the case. Now, some changes or updates or, specific to this year, everyone participating in the event this year is required to be fully vaccinated, including the orchestra, cast choir, and narrators. With the vaccination requirements, community and school choirs will not participate this year, but instead the cast choir will be expanded to fill the stage. So there's going to be a lot more cast members who pass that audition, aren't there?
Yeah, I asked my friend if he he's done it twice before. I was like, oh, are you going to be able to do it again? He's like, oh, I think it went well. And then I'm like, oh, well, they're extending the stage. So even if he wasn't up to par, I'm sure he probably still could have made it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to get to a point where they're going to be like asking a lot of cast members, like, can you just do it? Or maybe people will be performing more nights than they typically do. I think this run, though, sounds pretty standard, right? November 26th through December 30th. It doesn't sound abridged at all or anything, right?
I'd have to look, but I think that seems in line. They might have had some longer ones or a little bit into the new year, but it doesn't jump out to me as being much different.
Yeah. So this is cool. Have you ever experienced it in Epcot?
I have, just the once, and that's when, of course, with our friend Erin Wallace being a giant Amy Grant fan, we went to go see one of hers, and we just missed. Even though we did the dining package, our meal went a little bit late, so we just missed the covering, and it poured the entire time. I've never been so soaking wet in a theme park before, even riding Popeye. More wet than
I love that is like the threshold for wetness in theme parks.
That is my threshold, was riding Popeyes. After riding Ripsaw Falls, I mean, like, I can't possibly get any wetter.
Yeah, Popeye at Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, Florida. Folks, if you don't know, very, very wet. Like Cali River Rapids, like, Grizzly River Run, but really, they really turn on the sprinklers for that one.
It's like amazing. Painful. Like the things that people can shoot at you, it actually like stings. Like it's not just like little streams of water. It's intense.
Well, you may have seen Amy Grant in Epcot with Erin Wallace, but do you know who I got to see in Epcot with Erin Wallace?
Is it Whoopi?
No, it's what I did. This is not Candlelight Processional. I'm just saying a performer in general.
Oh, Hanson.
Hanson, right. Ding, ding, ding. You're right. I saw Hanson there with him and a bunch of other pals. So, yeah, I have never seen Candlelight Processional at Epcot. I really, really want to. The problem is I always go to Orlando in October for Halloween events. So to go so soon after that to catch Christmas events, it's unlikely a lot of the time. But one of these years I got to go because I did catch it at Disneyland and a couple times, once with seats, once just kind of watching from the sides. And it is so beautiful. And it's a huge like special event at Disneyland because it's only like 1 or 2 nights, whereas this goes for a month, which makes it a little less special but no less grand. I'm sure it's kind of amazing, and I love it, and I'm happy that it's coming back. I think that's great, and that was some good news we got this week. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Speaking of Yeehaw Bob's coming back, but I already talked about that. Anywho, let's move on. More holiday news because we get a holiday party coming to Disneyland Park for the first time ever. Disney Merriest Nites. So this event, the tickets start at $165. One of the nights is $175 the first night. And the dates, very few of them, November 11th, 16th, 30th, and then December 7th and 9th. What do you think the chances are that we're getting more dates with this?
That's a good question. I hadn't really thought about that. I'm still surprised that it's a thing that's happening. I have always talked about how I wanted to go to one of the ones at Walt Disney World. I thought it was a little weird that we had Halloween parties in Disneyland, but not holiday parties. And I think it's very interesting that they're doing it at all.
Why is that interesting to you? Just because they haven't in the past, or is there a specific reason?
Just because, like, of all the times to do it, now seems like probably the strangest.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're just trying to make up some loss from last year. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The thing with these parties is, I mean, the Christmas Fantasy Parade is part of it, but it's also part of the daytime stuff. Like, my whole thing is, if you're going to have a separate party, like, have added content, which they are doing, and don't take away stuff from, like, normal daytime hours, which it seems like they're not doing. So I like the way that they're doing it. Of course, it's a pretty hefty ticket price, but that's kind of how these things work with Disney these days. But let's talk about some of the features, because we have 6 mini parties happening within Disneyland, which I think is kind of cool. We have a Victorian-themed party on Main Street, USA. This is where Mickey will welcome guests to the party, along with Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and their friends as they travel on a special coach with Christmas Carol sing-alongs and more. Okay, now I know that this is, like, not geography accurate here, but, like, I know Main Street USA is America in the 1920s, but it's, like, got a Victorian charm to it. If we don't get some Charles Dickens Muppet Christmas Carol stuff going on here, I will lose my mind. It's too perfect.
I think it's a given.
I hope it's a given. I really hope we get
that song.
There's magic in the air this evening. Magic in the air. So good.
Is it that one? No, it's the other one.
It's the other one. It feels like Christmas.
Yeah, it plays at Disneyland Paris on Main Street.
Oh, really?
During the holidays, yes.
And it was part of the Christmas stage show at Magic Kingdom. The one where Clarabelle sings, I think, All I Want for Christmas Is You. The finale is It Feels Like Christmas from Muppet Christmas Carol. So I think that this is great. This excites me very much. And that's super cool. Over in New Orleans Square, we get Holiday in New Orleans Square with Princess Tiana, where she'll greet guests to a Bayou-inspired celebration. They always have really cool decorations there for the holidays in general, so in that land. So I think this will be cool. I'm sure we'll get some specialty foods as well.
Peppermint beignets, like they usually have.
Yeah.
Or gingerbread beignets, I don't know.
Yeah, and now we're going to get Miguel from Coco in Frontierland, where he wishes everyone Feliz Navidad with a dance-filled fiesta. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time that, like, we'll see Miguel other than Magic Happens in Disneyland Park? I don't think he's ever done meet and greets or anything.
I thought there was something recently, but I don't feel like I'm keeping track. I think there's a meet and greet. I don't know where it was, but I know that there's, like, a full-size Miguel meet and greet somewhere.
Okay.
Or, whatever meet passes as a meet and greet these days.
Okay, well, I know the puppet's over at DCA right now doing his kind of celebrating there, but I think this is cool. I love Coco. I need to revisit that film. I say that every year. I'm like, on Day of the Dead, I need to revisit Coco, but I'm so exhausted from Halloween at that point that I never get around to it, but I love that film, so it's pretty cool. He'll be there. Over in Adventureland, Lilo and Stitch host a tropical holiday celebration. Lilo and Stitch, I'm always amazed at the popularity of those characters. Just because it's a film I've never revisited. I don't ever hear anybody saying, oh gosh, I just rewatched Lilo and Stitch, but apparently there's a huge fan base.
Yeah, Stitch is one of those characters that I think a lot of people kind of identified with as an outsider, and he's kind of cute, but he's also rebellious. And so I think for a certain people that were a certain age at that time, that's one of their favorites, and it's continued to be. Like, he has his own Disney merch line right now with the Stitch Crashes Disney collections, and those sell well. So yeah, it's kind of one of those, I guess, B-tier Disney characters who you might expect to be lower just based on the film he's in isn't gonna, break any records, but
it's one of those, if you get it, you get it sort of things. And otherwise, you just don't, and you move on. And then, of course, Kyle, who's in Fantasyland, who has to have a winter celebration?
I don't know.
Elsa, of course.
Oh,
of course. Elsa will host a wintertime celebration for guests in Fantasyland. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with that, to be honest, because they haven't really given any specifics. And I don't know, like, will it be something in front of the castle that goes on, or like actually in Fantasyland? Is it going to snow in Fantasyland? I don't think that's ever happened. That would be kind of cool.
That like fantasy fair area would probably be better for it. I'm not saying that's where it is, but like it'd be cool if they did some sort of like projection mapping to like freeze that entire area, like with the fountain and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool. I would like that very much. And then we have Buzz Lightyear. He's going to host an out-of-this-world holiday celebration featuring a DJ and more over in Tomorrowland. I think it should have been Wayne Zielinski's Tomorrowland party, but...
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of Buzz Lightyear being a futuristic thing. He's a toy.
He is like unofficially the mascot of Tomorrowland. I had the same exact thought when I heard this. I'm like, can we not get anybody else? No other character can like represent Tomorrowland. It's always Buzz Lightyear. I guess it's because his ride's there, so I get that, but
bring over Iron Man from DCA.
I guess so. You could, or you could do Life Day stuff there since you got Star Tours there. I still vote for Wayne Zielinski though. Listen, let's throw it back to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Let's just do that. Can we just do that, Kyle?
I mean, it's not up to me.
Yes, the answer is yes. Listen, I'm showing up dressed as Wayne Zielinski with a Santa hat, and nobody can stop me from jumping on that stage with that DJ and kicking Buzz Lightyear out of the way. Can somebody stop me from doing that? Somebody probably can.
They might not be able to stop you in the moment, but they can stop you from coming back to Disneyland ever.
That might be a problem. Anyway, with this party and with this ticket price, you get unlimited Disney PhotoPass digital downloads for the night. You have select attractions available, including It's a Small World Holiday and Haunted Mansion Holiday. Both fantastic overlays, by the way. If anybody listening has never had the chance to do that, I hope you do sometime. Because they're both really, really good overlays. You get a special viewing of A Christmas Fantasy Parade. Now, I have gone on record saying many times that this parade needs to be retired and replaced, but I gotta tell you, I am so excited to see this parade again this year. I just missed it. I just missed parades at Disneyland. And this is gonna be the first parade back, right? Because Magic Happens hasn't returned. Well, to be fair, we have the Halloween parade happening at Disney California Adventure, but this is going to be the first one in Disneyland, I think.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
So that's pretty cool. I like that. Guests can take advantage of early park admission, able to get in starting at 5 p.m. on their ticketed night, with the special events starting at 8 p.m. And special Disney Merriest Nites themed merchandise will be available, as well as event-inspired menu options like hot chocolate and cookies at select locations. So this does not sound like one of those things where they give you hot chocolate and cookies, which I know is a thing that happens at Magic Kingdom with your ticket.
Yeah, I feel like they should.
Yeah, I mean, for $165, I think they should as well. But by the way, I just did Oogie Boogie Bash, and speaking of like giving you food, the amount of candy is so absurd. I have like 2 giant bowls full of candy from that night. It's unbelievable to me, but I love it and I'm not complaining about it. But come on, give me some cookies and hot chocolate. I think that would be a nice add-on as well.
That was like one of the main things I wanted when I thought about going to Magic Kingdom for the holiday parties, was I heard about these cookies. I'm like, I want to walk around and eat cookies. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, free is good. Free is always good. So this sounds like a fun party to me. You know, I'm not sure that like I would pay out of my wallet $165 for this, but I think it sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it would have done a lot better if they didn't just bring back Magic Key. Like if people weren't able to just go whenever and had to still buy full day tickets, I think maybe some people would have opted to do this instead, and I think that would have made sense. We'll see. I'm sure it'll sell out.
It's like I said, it's 5 nights. Yeah, it's only 5 nights. I did buy a ticket for a work-related thing, and I think I was in the queue for 5 hours, 6 hours maybe. So that's actually like good for Disneyland tickets. So I don't know, maybe it's not selling as well as some others, but yeah, I would be shocked if this does not sell out. I mean, Oogie Boogie Bash sold very, very well, and what was that, like 130, I think? You know, ranging around there. So we'll see how it goes. I think the fact that it's the first one ever is certainly enticing to a lot of people, and I think it'll do well. I just find the dates weird. Like the latest one is December 9th. I wonder why that is the case and not any closer to Christmas.
Well, because they're closing down Disneyland Park. So, I mean, that's
I guess so.
If it was DCA,
early. It's
a little different.
It'll be good if they keep Halloween at DCA and Christmas at Disneyland, assuming this thing keeps coming back. And by the way, we should mention that Critter Country, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and Mickey's Toontown are closed during the party. Not only do they not have their own little mini celebration, but they're closed. So that's kind of interesting as well. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Should be fun. Should be fun. I think that's all I got this week. Anything you want to add?
Think I'm good. I'm excited to see what comes ahead. Been lots of news lately, and I think we're going to get a lot more with the 50th coming up.
Yes, coming up very soon. I do have something you need to know because the world needs to know this. Kyle, I've given in.
Uh-oh.
I am on TikTok.
Okay.
That response was amazing. Okay. Yeah, I did it. So if anybody wants to follow me, it's at Jeff DePaly. You know how to spell it, hopefully. JEFFDEPAOLI.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to sing the song.
Oh, it's DePaly with a D, then followed by an E. It's followed by an E, not an I. It's an E with a capital P, not a lowercase p. Then it's AOLI, DePaly. There you go. Jeff, that. On TikTok right now, sharing tons of Halloween content if you're into that. And of course, we'll be doing Disney over there. And who knows, maybe something like the Daily Disney Decision will return on TikTok. We'll see.
I hope not, because I'm not downloading TikTok.
I resisted for so long, Kyle, and so many people were like, you just got to get it. You got to do it. And so I was like, you know what? Here's the story. Nobody cares, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. So I had been resisting for a long time, and like, as soon as I literally the week I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Donald Trump announced like, we're getting rid of TikTok because of, China and all that stuff. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time going into this because it's gonna be gone soon. So that happened. Then all that went away, and I was just sitting on it still. Then the day I'm like, okay, I'm going to really look into this thing. I sound like such an old guy talking about this, but I looked into it and I could have sworn when I saw, like, usually when there's a new social media, I'll sign up with my name. All of my social media is simply at Jeff DePaly. And shockingly, there are other Jeff DePalys out there. One is a composer. And so I always make sure I get my name. And I went back to TikTok and like couldn't use my name. And I was like, wait a second, what? And so I look into this and I can't figure, and it's somebody with no followers, nobody following, no posts, nothing. So I'm like losing it. I'm like, I don't want to be anything but at Jeff DePaly.
DePaly 1.
Yeah, right. So in any case, I ended up making an account at Jeffrey DePaly, my full name. And I was like, oh, this drives me crazy. So I sat with that for a while and I was like, I just can't, I'm not going to use this. I can't stand at Jeffrey DePaly. So I contact TikTok. I explained, listen, this person's not using their account. It's sitting there inactive. Can I get my name as the username? And they're like, no problem. Just pick a different username. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. Guess who had at Jeff DePaly?
You did.
I did. And I eventually figured that out, which I thought was the case the whole time. But, in any case, I have at Jeff DePaly. You can go follow me on there. Like I said, lots of Halloween, Disney stuff coming up. And yeah, so that's a thing. And sorry for ruining your mood with the TikTok news, Kyle.
No, I'm happy for you. I just hope that you don't do exclusive content that I can't consume over there. Because that makes me sad.
Well,
no, like, I mean, if you're going to bring back Daily Disney Decision and you're going to leave me out of it, then I don't know if we can be friends.
I mean, I might have to get you on TikTok then. Is that what that means? I mean, who knows? Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this week. I'll see you again in a couple weeks with more Disney news, Kyle.
All right. See you then.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. How do you think the new holiday party coming to Disneyland sounds? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. If you haven't listened yet, be sure to check out last week's episode all about the update to Disneyland's Snow White Dark Ride. And next week, we're celebrating Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss any of the magic is by subscribing to Disney Coast to Coast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you search, don't forget, it's Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast. This episode has been executive produced by Robert Scontrino. Gain rewards like Robert by visiting patreon.com/Disney with a Z, CTC. That link, plus the DCTC hotline and some free gifts from me to you, can all be found in this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePaly. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.